Good afternoon and happy Thursday. It is Thursday, March 13th, and welcome to today's episode of Real Estate Recess. I'm Jennifer Schurter, your local South Clackamas County, Canby area, Portland metro suburbs real estate expert down here in the beautiful North Willamette Valley. Today, if I look out the window here to my right, I see thunderstorm happening. So I'm hopeful my internet, because I'm using a Starlink, I'm hopeful that today my internet sticks with me through this little bit of thunder and lightning that we've got going on. But welcome to spring in Oregon, where we're going to have weather that 1 minute isn't knowing what's going on, and we might have thunder and hail and sun and rain and snow all in the 5-minute period. So welcome to Oregon if you're new here. That is what you can expect this time of year. So today, I have a really interesting topic I wanted to bring to your attention. And it's something that I've been looking at and reading about the last week. And that is the Portland Metro Chamber of Commerce's 2025 State of the Economy report. And I think it's really interesting, and I wanted to call it to your attention for a number of reasons. And there's a lot of things on people's minds right now. So raise your hand, leave me a comment if you're one of those people watching the news or just generally have concerns or things that you're thinking about in terms of the economy right now. Leave me a comment. Let me know what those are. I would love to hear from you. And also I respond to my comments personally. So please do, would love to have that conversation with you. And would love to share what you're thinking here as we're live. So this report, reading up on it and analyzing it with my friend ChatGPT, it has some really interesting and also can seem very, very grim. If you look at it on the surface, it's very grim. But with anything that's negative, I believe in opportunity. There's an opportunity here. This information is not meant to be, this is it, we're done. This is an opportunity for improvement and for change. And I think that if we look at this the right way, we can find an opportunity in everything. I'm not necessarily one of these toxically positive people. I believe in the power of being positive. I also understand that we have to look at things at what they are. And sometimes that is required, but we also need to think that let's find a way through this together. So let's take a look at this report. I really want to talk and spend the majority of the time today looking at this so that you can feel informed and know what's going on with this particular thing. So I'm going to share my screen. I have let's see here. This is the website I wanted to share. This is so you can find this yourself. This is the Portland Metro Chamber website. So if you want to go poke around and take a look at this information, this is where you can find it. So this is the State of the Economy report. It was released in February. It was talked about on the local news, but I don't know that they spent a tremendous amount of time on it. I think that if you're curious about it, absolutely come in here and download the executive summary, take a look at it. There's a presentation that you can watch. But let's talk about what these things are. So one of the main things it talks about are current economic challenges in the Portland metro area. If you live here, you've probably felt these, you've seen them. Not only are we dealing with, I actually was talking to somebody today, one of my title rep, who said that it's like we've crammed 10 years of inflation into 4 years, and we're feeling that in our wallets. Are we not? It's hard. I mean, I remember going to the store a couple weeks ago and saying, gosh, I spent $75 on a single grocery bag. And this isn't like I was going to Whole Foods or anything. This was the local Safeway down the road. So it's tough out there. So economically, we're feeling that in our pocketbooks right now. But what this report's alluding to are some current economic challenges in the Portland metro area. So first of all, in 2023, they're looking at having assessed all that data, that Multnomah County, since this is talking mostly about Portland, has experienced a net population loss of 4,820 residents in 2023. So that people are going to other places. There are people leaving the state. There are people leaving the county, Multnomah County, and they're going to other places. So they're heading to Clark County, and they're heading to places like Clackamas County. So they're getting out of Multnomah and taking their income, their investment, their business, whatever, to other areas. So The next thing they talk about is job losses. In 2024, the region saw a reduction of 6,700 jobs in sectors like information, financial services, and professional services. So not good to have lost 6,700 jobs in that same area. We also, according to this report, is talking about housing affordability. So the area remains largely unaffordable for households earning less than $160,000 annually, with housing production not keeping pace with demand. So there's some big implications there. So I'm a real estate agent, obviously. Many of you know this at this point. And if you don't, hi, I'm a realtor. And this is something that's concerning to me. Not just it doesn't always come down to sales, folks. It comes down to, is this people who own homes or people who want that for their lives? Because we know, as we've talked about before, and if you don't know this, people who own a home, even the home that they live in, a single family home or a townhome or whatever that looks like, their net worth is something. And this quote is, just don't quote me on this. It's somewhere in the order of 40% higher than a person who has no property that they own. So let's say somebody that rents a house. So we know that that has improved markers for stability. It is owning a property or a home that you live in is a hedge against inflation, because you at least can keep your housing costs pretty consistent. Your taxes are going to increase, your insurance fees are going to change, but that principal and interest on your home, when you have a fixed rate that you are paying on every single month, that gives you a hedge against inflation. And so you've fixed your housing costs as much as you can, which is better for a lot of folks, in a sense, theoretically, than if you were to rent, where that can fluctuate. That's going to go up over time with the market. So housing affordability is a bigger concern. $160,000 threshold to purchase a home in this area is fairly frightening. And I know that that has increased dramatically over the last handful of years. So the other component of this that isn't helping with that is that demand outstrips the actual inventory that we have. We are still very much in a low inventory situation. We've talked about this before as well, but I know a lot of people are talking about, well, I'm going to wait until the market crashes to buy. I don't know if that's going to happen a la 2008, when we had vast amounts of supply, not at least in the way that we saw it happen in 2008. But so if that's what you're waiting for, it might look different. It could look different should anything happen and we see an adjustment in the real estate market. I don't know when that could happen. I don't have a crystal ball. But the affordability angle isn't helped when there's not enough of something for people to buy. So it's a supply and demand economics equation where you have people, a lot more people that want to buy and a lot less of that item for someone to buy. Ultimately, that means the prices will increase. So there's a lot of pressure there on the inventory. And that's not just with houses to buy. I would also argue that affects our rental market. People who just need a place to live, they just need a place that's safe and secure and stable and healthy for their family, a place that they can afford to rent, for crying out loud. All of that has become a big issue. And it's a multifaceted, multi-layered problem. And we could spend an entire podcast talking about affordability and the nuances of how to make that work. It involves developers, it involves SDCs, it involves a diverse array of housing, not just apartments. We need lots of options for people to fit their needs and their lifestyle. I think that that's important. So housing affordability is part of one of these economic challenges identified in this Portland Metro Area Chamber report. So that is the economic challenges. So that's one component of this. The next component that they're talking about is the implications for the entire metro region. Portland is let's call it what it is, in my opinion. It is the economic center for the state. It is the largest area. It's where a great majority of commerce is done. So you could easily think, yes, this report, this is great. It's going to affect Portland. And that's it. It's not going to affect us. We can go on living however we do. But the issue is not just going to stay with Portland as the economic center for the state. The challenges that faces is a ripple effect. It's not on an island unto itself. But these issues that are faced in Portland are going to ripple out into the surrounding areas and into the entire state. So it's going to affect economic vitality, our housing markets everywhere else, and the public services across the entire metro region. So it's not just something that is insulated to Portland specifically. It's something that is much greater in scope that will impact the entire state of Oregon. So here's what's interesting. Let's talk about the other aspect of this. The other aspect of this here is this urban doom loop. They talked about something in this report called the urban doom loop. That sounds very scary, very grim, very Gotham City, right? So what is this urban doom loop that they're talking about? So think of it this way, and I wish I had like a whiteboard I could get out like and draw like a little picture for you, but just picture with me if you bear with me. So basically this doom loop, it's referring to a negative economic cycle. So I'm going to read verbatim my notes here, where declining urban conditions, reduced population, business closures, and diminished tax revenues lead to further deterioration in public services and infrastructure, which perpetuates a cycle. So as you can imagine, people start leaving the area. We start to have some issues with the city. People get tired of it. They leave. So you have high income earners here entering the cycle who say, okay, we're going to take our business, our family, our life, we're going to move somewhere else and take that to a different place. Wow, it's really starting to come down out here. Looks like we're getting some hail. So hopefully my holds. Hope I don't lose you. So you have those high income earners at the top. They're leaving. They go to other states. They take their businesses. They take their investments, their tax revenue that the state or the area would receive from them goes to other places. So they leave. Then you have lack of jobs. You have less investment into the things we need, the police, the schools, the streets, all the things that we depend on as a public. That starts to deteriorate because there's no tax revenue entering into this whole equation. And then that deteriorates the public services, and then nobody wants to invest in the area, and then more people leave. And you have this cycle that just kind of goes around and around and around. So according to this report, what they're saying is that often you don't know that you're in the urban doom loop cycle until you've been in it for a while. And I think what they're talking about in here is that they're not saying Portland is in the urban doom loop cycle right this minute, but we could be kind of on the precipice of entering one where we really start to see the effects of this. So you've seen it, and they've referenced cities like San Francisco, Detroit, and I think Kansas City, don't quote me on that one, is one of those cities where we've seen this type of urban doom loop. Oh, Chicago for sure is one that they noted in the report, where they see this perpetual cycle where you have these urban areas that have become completely devastated. And when people leave and you don't have that investment or infrastructure anymore. So that is this report. That's the 10,000 foot view for you. So there's a lot to unpack with this. And obviously I could spend hours going through every single detail. And I can show you the actual, let's see here. This is what the report looks like. If you're curious, let me share this page with you. This is the state of the economy. So here's something interesting to point to this. The average income of individuals moving to Clark County is $105,800 versus $73,540 for those moving to Multnomah County. That goes back to 2022. But that's that is what they would consider, I would say, a high income earner. Somebody who says, gosh, this is not the life we want or the lifestyle we're interested in, so we're going to go somewhere else. And they're taking that income, and the tax revenue that goes with that is going with them. Also the other thing, they did a study of states. So this thing over here, this is 80th on the kind of the right-hand side. It says Portland ranked second to last in a national real estate attractiveness rating. 80th out of 81. The last place city on this list was Hartford, Connecticut. And so that is where Portland ranked. That's frustrating. Absolutely frustrating, because we know we live in a beautiful area. We know Portland's a beautiful city. There's so much opportunity that can be had here. So now we've talked about the negative. I don't want to dwell on the negative. If you would like to review this report yourself and come to your own conclusions about it, definitely go visit portlandmetrochamber.com and you will find the entirety of this report, and you can review it. So we've talked about the negative Nancy stuff, right? The total, just like, let's just say we've gotten the negative stuff out of the way. So what are the opportunities? Because I believe in every negative situation there are positive opportunities. There's somewhere we can go with this. This presents us with an opportunity. I'm going to compare this to something that I know well, which is home inspections and people selling their house. So you're getting ready to sell your house and you have an inspector come in and you do a pre-sale home inspection, and they give you a laundry list of things that you can take care of, a little punch list that you can do before you sell the property. I am going to say that is kind of what this economic report is for the city, for our leadership, is to say, we're not selling our house, but we have to sell the city on its opportunities and how great it is to the people who live here and people who need to invest here. We need high income earners to stay. We need investment in our real estate. We need investment in business. We need economic prosperity, because if these dollars leave, it's not going to be good for anybody. So this is an opportunity, folks who are out there. This is how we can consider this an opportunity. So, in this, they're talking about, businesses exploring new models to try to help keep things diversified and to remain resilient as a possible opportunity. I know that there's a big push for return to office. So when we're looking at this, perhaps an adaptation to things could make things, could be something. It's talking about, hey, this analysis, my notes here I'm reading from, is that suggesting that residents and business owners should advocate for things that they care about: housing, economic development, and public safety. Like, we need business in an area. Business drives tax revenue. We can't tax people into oblivion. There's a balance there, because without business, without that particular type of investment in our community, we don't have jobs, we don't have cash flow, we don't have tax revenue. So we need that we need people to advocate. And then as far as how we counter this urban doom loop, and again, it's investing in diverse industries. If you look at Oregon, it seems like we've got our eggs in two baskets. We've got two big Fortune 500 companies here, and it seems like that's it. We're not creating an environment that is inviting to these businesses. So we need them to be here. We can't put all of our eggs in one basket. Investing in infrastructure, which we need tax revenue to do. But if we improve transportation, housing, and public amenities, it might retain residents and keep businesses here. And we need partnerships, good partnerships, open-minded partnerships between government and businesses and the communities, so that we all work together. So that is some of the opportunities that can be out here. And also the public perception. You and I play a big role in this. It's really easy to be negative. And I think if we approach something with a negative mindset, automatically it's like we're done for, doom and gloom. We're going to fall into this and we're never going to get out. Thinking of this as an opportunity and writing letters to your legislators, writing letters to the city. If you live in the city of Portland, I encourage this. ChatGPT is wonderful. If you don't know what to say or you don't have the time, it's a great place to go to help you thoughtfully create something and saves you some time. So absolutely, if that's what you need to do, because you're a busy person, like, I get it. Absolutely do that. Regardless of where it is that you fall on the spectrum. I don't want to do this divided political thing, but regardless of where you fall on the spectrum, if you have something to say about this issue or any issue, I encourage you to get involved. So where do you go from here with this? I'm a real estate agent. We talk about real estate. What does this mean for us as real estate agents? Not just talking about to you as a potential home buyer or home seller about where to go with this. But I think that if I were to advise people, it's really right now, what are your goals? What do you need right now that involves real estate? And really taking a good look at that. Is it a good time to sell? I'm not an agent that's going to tell you it's always a good time to sell, because any time's a bad time to sell or buy. If you think about it, any time could be a good time to buy or sell, but two different people have different goals. They have different things they're trying to achieve. It might be good for couple or person A versus person B. Might not be a good time. So it's all individual. So if you need to make sense, if you're going to make a move in light of this information, you want to know how these factors play into what you're trying to do, where opportunities are for you, whatever, then have those conversations. But otherwise, I would say at the end of the day, I get it. It's tough to hear negative economic news. It's tough to hear about things that can add distress, can add uncertainty. But I still believe at the end of the day that no matter where you own real estate, over the course of time, it turns out to be a good investment. It's not something you look at on a 5-year slice. You have to take the long view on it. So my advice to you is, if that means you buy real estate in 2 years or 5 years, then plan ahead for it. If that means right now, then let's talk about what that's going to look like. So that is the Portland Metro Chamber report and my thoughts on it. I invite you to leave me a comment and let me know what your thoughts are, because this is a heavy subject and it's multifaceted and there's a lot we can really dive into with this. But again, I encourage you to go check out the actual report itself so that you can read it and bring your own thoughts to the table. Leave me comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. But otherwise, thank you for watching today. I'm Jennifer Schurter. I'm your local real estate expert, again, here in the beautiful North Willamette Valley. That includes South Clackamas County and the Portland metro suburbs. And if you're looking to make a move around this area, you have questions, you want to talk about how these economic issues impact your decision to buy or sell in today's market, I hope that you'll look me up. I would love to walk you through the pros and cons and if it's going to make sense for your individual situation. But otherwise, I'll look forward to seeing you next week, same time, Thursdays, noon Pacific. Have a great weekend, everyone.